Bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
All right, welcome, Fade to Black. How is everybody doing? Today is Monday, September 23rd, 2024, kicking off another brand new week here on Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church, and when I say an amazing week, which I say every week, but check this out. Tonight, Jason Quitt is back with us. It is, we haven't done this. It's about Quittspiracy 13. Wow. 13. And if you think about that, once a year, a couple times a year, think about how many years we have done this. And now we are on number 13, but it's been probably a couple of years since we've done a Quittspiracy. We've done all kinds of other shows together, but we haven't done a Quittspiracy. And I've been thinking about this. I'll get back to that subject in just a second, because tomorrow night, Tuesday, Robert Edward Grant is with us. Polymath and Philomath tomorrow night with Robert Grant. Wednesday night, Andy Marciel is with us. We're going to be talking about his 15 years of research into UFOs and USOs and UAPs, including the Homeland Security footage shot in Puerto Rico. That is on Wednesday, another huge show. And then Thursday, wrapping up the week, Eben Alexander is with us. That's right. We're going to be talking about his near-death experience, his best-selling book, Proof of Heaven. Eben Alexander wraps up the week with us on Thursday. That is an amazing week here on Fade to Black. All right, now, before I get straight to it, which tonight, Jason Quitt is with us, Quittspiracy number 13. Now, you know the rules of the show, okay? The rules are simple. We are going to go through some different conspiracies and conspiracy theories and ideas that are out there. And then you, the audience, will rate them 1 to 4 pipes. Four. Yeah, 4. That's the correct way to do 4. 1 to 4 pipes. Okay, there's no 0, there's no 5. 1 to 4 pipes. 4 pipes. 1 being ain't really buying it, to 4 pipes. Absolutely, I'm all in. Okay, and it's such a fun show to do. And so there we go. Let's get straight to it. He says, I'm talking about Jason. He says this is Quittspiracy number 13. And I had a few of the people that work for me check into that, and everybody has confirmed that, yes, indeed, tonight is Quittspiracy number 13. So there's no conspiracy behind that, but I do like the number 13. He is the author of the Gates of the Anunnaki, the Sacred Geometry, Keys to the Gods, Astral Genesis, Astrological Keys to the Gods, and Egyptian postures of power, and mysticism, movements, and meditations. He's been teaching and lecturing on these subjects of mysticism, out-of-body experiences, astral projection, meditation, and Qi Gong since 2010. He's done so many conferences with me, of course, Fade to Black and Coast to Coast. He's just one of the people that I admire and look up to and talk about a lot. And his website is below, thecrystalsun.com. And I want to welcome back to Fade to Black, the one and only Jason Quitt. He's right there. Jason.
Cheers.
It got the pipe ready. He's got the pipe. The question is, what's in that pipe? Hey, is we were talking about this. I was in Canada last week. Is pot legal now in Canada?
Pretty much everything is.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah. You don't have to go far for anything, but I don't really partake in any of things like that, obviously.
Right. Yeah, sure. I was where was I? I was was it Vancouver or Victoria? I was somewhere and I was joking with the Uber driver. He was taking us to a restaurant and I said I said to the Uber, is heroin legal in Canada? And he goes, I think so. Right, just like that. He goes, but not where we are right here. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I need to take you a couple of blocks that way
to the government building.
I was like, what? And I think he was being serious, man. I think he was being serious. It was really funny. So that was the question. And I had asked a few people about pot in Canada. I was up in the Yukon and went pretty deep into Canada. It was a lot of fun. I was asking all the locals, pot legal? I don't know if it's here, but maybe over there. It's supposed to be nationwide, but it's not like everywhere. There's a lot of confusion behind it.
In Ontario, which is where I live, when it became legal, every household was allowed to grow 9 plants in your backyard.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of plants, man. That's a lot. That's 9.
Yep.
That's a year's worth.
Yeah. And you can ask the government for a license. Remember, like I broke my back in 2017. So I got like a card that said I was like a legal
pothead.
You're legal. I can grow whatever I want, right? Because
you're a legal pothead. Legal pothead. 9 plants.
Yeah.
So what do you get? Do you get like a pound per plant or something? Probably 9 pounds of weed.
Yeah, pretty much. I think I got more than 1 pound from the plant I did in my backyard. Yeah.
Didn't you come over to my house once and we were growing weed in the backyard?
Yeah, I do remember that, Jimmy.
Yeah. It was, and that was by accident because I don't smoke it, but I wanted to grow it and just have fun with it. And somebody gave us these seeds and they had told it, dude, this is like that, this is they invented this on Mars, right? It's the weed that killed Elvis. And I was like, okay, all right. So, and we grew like 12 plants. It was crazy. It was so much fun to grow and watch it. And yeah, I just cared for it. And then we had so much, I was giving it away. I didn't know what to do with that. Pounds of these giant buds. And it was great.
I got to send you pictures because it gets cold in Canada. And when it gets cold, it changes colors. So when I harvested, it was literally like purple. So
we had a mix of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
We're getting way sideways here. But I could tell stories about that. That was a fun year grow. That was the only time I ever grew it too. I didn't grow it a second time. I just did it that once. Yeah. But it was a lot of fun and they were so beautiful. I mean, it was just a very, very fun experience. Even more fun giving it away. What? Yeah, here, man. Take as much as you just take it. Take it. I had Trader Joe's has these really tall cans for coffee. They're like this tall. Holds like 2 pounds of coffee. I had like 14 of those stuffed. Stuffed. It was just crazy. I was so much. Anyway,
fade to green.
Yeah, fade to green. Yeah, we were gonna name it. We never really did. We should have named it. All right. So I want to do this. I'm going to tell a quick story. You've been on my mind. Jason and I haven't talked for probably about 3 months until yesterday. And but this is how this happened. So Jason, I go on this cruise up in Canada, and I'm going to do a presentation. So I put this presentation together, and I'm gonna show this picture. This is me doing the presentation, and as you can see, there's Jason's cover of his book, The Gates of the Anunnaki. And this was taken last week. Jason didn't know about any of this. I didn't talk to him, but I told everybody my presentation was on portals and doorways around the world that I've photographed over the years. And I told everybody the story, Jason, about you and I having that conversation, and the thing, and the next thing you know, and boom, and then this book got written. So I told everybody the story and how I wrote the foreword to it. I was supposed to write the book, but Jason wrote the book in like 2 weeks, and I didn't even get a chance to contribute to the book. But anyway, so I tell the story to everybody, and I showed the Enki doorway portal symbol and the cover of the book. So Jason's like on my mind. Fast forward, this is last week, and then yesterday I'm posting some pictures of me out to dinner this weekend on Instagram. And so I open up Instagram, and on the feed, as I opened it up, is of Jason doing a video. Jason, I didn't watch the video, by the way. I did. So I don't know what you said, but I'm sure it was good. Anyway, I see that I went, man, I got to call Jason. I haven't talked to him in months, just did this thing, and I want to do a Quittspiracy. So that's what ended up happening. And I called Jason last night, and he said, yeah, let's do it. When? I said, tomorrow. And that's what we're doing today. But it's because, Jason, you've just been like, in the universe has been slapping me to get a hold of you. And I finally did. And that's how all of this happened. And everybody was asking me about the book on the cruise and so forth. So welcome back to the show. And tonight we get to have fun, and we're going to do Quittspiracy. What's that? Oh, there it is. Gates of the Anunnaki. Did you change my forward?
No, it's right here.
Yeah, it's right here. Oh man. That was a crazy phone call that day, man. And the next 2 weeks after that. So I thought that we would do, of course, a Quittspiracy tonight. And so you and I, just like we always do, we passed around a list of ideas for the show tonight, which I have in front of me. Let me move this over here. And I'm going to back up. And normally we just pick and choose what we're going to, and it just go down the list. But I'm going to pick for you. And because we're talking about portals and Gates of the Anunnaki. Let's start with number 2. Are portals real? Now, remember, everybody, you can vote. Now, after Jason and I go, okay, 1 pipe to 4 pipes, then everybody vote, because just hearing us say this up front, you've already got a predetermined answer. Hold off on your answer until we say it. Okay, so are portals real? Are there documented historical cases of time travel, UFOs, or jumping from one location to another? And so now I'm going to pass this over to you first, Jason.
Okay. There's one case that I always go to, which I absolutely love because it's a historical case. And this case is called the Cave of the Seven Sleepers. Have you heard of this one before?
I have not.
All right. So basically let me just pull this up. This has to do with a village around Amman, Jordan. Okay. And this takes place around the time of when the Romans were killing Christians. So we're going back like about 2,000 years ago. And basically around 250 AD, there were 7 Christians who were trying to hide from the Roman Empire. There was people just going out and killing Christians. So they decided to run and hide in this cave in Amman, Jordan. And so 7 of them go into this cave. They go to sleep. So remember, this is around 250 AD. They go to sleep. And the next morning when they wake up, they go down into the city and they realize that everything has changed and it's now a Christian country in Amman, Jordan. It's a Christian country now. And they were like, how did this happen? So they start talking to people and they realize that they ended up over 100 years into the future. So they go to bed and in the morning, they're 100 years in the future, all 7 of them. And then this story became like a miracle. And it started to spread through the communities that there was these 7 people that woke up in a cave and they came to the future. And it went right up to the emperor. And they basically made these 7 sleepers, which they call them, they made them saints. And so when they go to this cave now, you can actually go to this cave right now in Jordan. And it's still dedicated to the 7 sleepers because they believed it was a miracle that they came to see. The emperors thought it was a miracle proving that the religion was true. So that's one of my favorite stories of an ancient thing that actually happened. You could actually go there and see the graves. So they're buried there, these time travelers.
And so the Romans never found them.
No.
Yeah.
They disappeared for 100 years, and for them, they just woke up the next morning and left the cave.
I want to get to the FBI memo, but before we get to that, I'm going to pull this up for a second because somebody just mentioned this in so let me pull this up. Okay, somebody just mentioned this in the chat, and it's worth certainly worth talking about. And I didn't intend to do this, but we're doing it now, so it is what it is. When I did my presentation on the cruise, one of the things that I talked about was this, which is a Marumuru in Peru.
Mm-hmm.
It might be Bolivia. I can't remember.
No, it's Peru. It's
Peru,
but it's Peru. Right next to Lake Titicaca.
It's right now. It's on the way to Bolivia. Yes. And so it's on that part of it's on the way to Pumapunku. Okay, so it's right before you get there. And so anyway, that's beside the point. This is a portal that lots of legend and stuff behind it, but somebody just brought this up in the chat and was saying, isn't there a place in Peru? Yes, this is it. And I might have, if you're wondering about the size of it, yeah, there I am sitting in it. I just did the ceremony, did the whole thing, the tobacco and the feathers and, with the shaman, and you face it and you put your chin in that little indentation. You see that indentation behind my head?
I do.
Yeah, that's how many people have done this over the years, right? Like this is like now got a dent in it. And look at me looking at the sun. Yeah. I just went through this whole ceremony and it's carved in this is all one piece of rock, this hill. It's a giant hill, by the way, with a cave in the back of it. But where people constantly keep disappearing. And so much so that a few hundred years ago, the village, which is right down the street from this, Jason, There's probably, when I say village, I mean that in a literal sense. There's probably 100 houses or 50 houses, not many. It's just very small. And there's this little road that goes through the village and then up to this. So you go through the village, everybody knows you're there. Okay, right? They follow you up the hill. It's a sacred place. You can't go up there and goof around or anything like that. And the villagers are just, they're watching you. In a good way, but this is a sacred site. But those villagers that watch and take care of this site, there's a cave on the backside of this stone, and it's a huge hill, one piece of stone. There's a cave that goes straight into the back of this portal that they walled in 300 years ago. You know why? People were disappearing. They were going into that cave and not coming out. And so they walled it off. I'm not kidding. This is not like, you know what I mean? Some urban legend, some folklore, some myth of days gone. No, they take this very, very serious. In a modern context, there are a couple of stories out there of people that have gone in here and done the ceremony and then have been transported and then came back and have a story to tell. That didn't happen to me, but I did have a pretty spiritual experience here. But this is an example of that. I just watched a movie last night, and it was called Hostile Dimensions. Okay? Write that down. Hostile Dimensions. It's a movie, science fiction movie. Are you writing it down? Where's your pen? Hostile Dimensions. I'm going to put it in the chat. I don't want anybody to forget this. It's called Hostile Dimensions. How do you spell dimensions?
I'm dyslexic.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's close enough. I think you guys will get it, right? Dimensions with an E, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Hostile Dimensions. Okay, good. Which is a movie about this. So it's a movie about portals and doors and going to alternate realities. I'm not going to say anything else but that. That's all you need to know. That's like the description you're going to get from the movie. Just watch it. Independent movie, well made. Story is incredible with an absolutely amazing ending. And so I watched that last night. No connection to the show, right? But everything, I didn't watch it because of today's program. I watched it because I like movies like that. And I got to the end, and I watch a lot of movies. I'm telling you, Jason, I got to the end of that movie, and I was like, that was great. Wow. So, Hostile Dimensions. There you go. Everybody, there's your tip of the day.
You're reminding me of, there's a couple great movies. One is The Mist. And
yes.
This is a very, very ancient thing. Like, this is written about in folklore all around the world, where you'll be walking through a forest and you'll see this kind of mist coming through. And as you walk into the mist, you're gone. It's like you've jumped into another dimension. You've jumped into another timeline. It's the same thing with fairy circles, where they say that if you're in the forest and you hear children singing or playing up ahead, turn around and run out of that forest.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if you walk into that fairy circle, you can be transported through time. And there's actually cases, I'll have to bring them up. There's a lot of these ancient books of these mysteries of the natural world, written around like the 15th to the 18th century. And it talks about how you would have these wanderers or these wild people just walking out of the forest into these towns. And they're completely kind of in shock. Sometimes they speak a completely different language. They don't know where they are, how they got there. And it's almost like they've walked into the forest in their timeline. And as they walk out of the forest, they're somewhere in the future and they don't know anybody. They don't know the language. So I have to kind of think of, how many people are here in today's modern world who end up in asylums because they're time travelers.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's pause right there because that's going to be our next conspiracy. So for the first conspiracy, which are portals to other dimensions around the world, some say pseudoscience, some say conspiracy, some say no. All right, everybody, 1 pipe to 4 pipes. Are portals to other dimensions real? Mark, set, go. Solid 10 points. I got 10 pipes. I got 10 pipes. 1 to 4 pipes. I just find that a fascinating subject. Yes, portals are real. Yes, 4. Yes. Michael, is that Michael or Nickel? I can't read that. Michael Dane says 2 pipes. 2 pipes. With the subject like this, can you go in the middle? I don't think you can. You can't go in the middle. You're either all in or not.
We're very polarizing.
Yeah. It looks like Moon at Noon gave 1 pipe. 1 pipe. That's fine. You're entitled to your own opinion. That's why we do this show.
And I'll just add one thing.
Sure.
July 12th, 2012, NASA website printed an article called "Hidden Portals in Earth's Magnetic Field."
I saw that.
And,
I saw that. And then there was the article that came out last week. China doing the measurements above the Giza plateau, above the Great Pyramid, with those magnetic circles that were above the Great Pyramid, which was also very, very, very interesting. The images were really cool. So let's go to our next one, which is time travel real? Is there an example of somebody coming back from the future? Now, I am going to, let me say a couple of things. If there's an example of this, I would look back. I'm going to pull up Egypt first, but I think that there are a couple of cultures back then, which I would say would even go into the Renaissance. But China, Mesopotamia, Egypt, Central and South America, and I think that up through the Renaissance, where there were a few examples of what I think could be people from the future. Coming back into, ancient Egypt, where they could be identified as gods, right? What could Sekhmet, you know what I mean? Could they have been Thoth? Could they have been time travelers from the future? Thoth comes and reading and writing, right? And these are, is that I think that's a really good example of if it was possible that it's right there. And what they weren't the only culture. It happened in Greece. Could Socrates have been a time traveler? I mean, he had some very advanced things, but and before we get to 1 pipes already, I've got 4 pipes.
It was Bill and Ted right there.
Yeah, Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Is this? Check this out. Almost, if not all, people claiming to have traveled through time to here in a modern sense have all been white dudes. It's like, wait a minute here, right? It's like, I see the consistency of this. It's like in a modern sense, right? In a modern sense, like in 2024, 2023, do we have a woman of color, any any gender except for white male dudes, from a trailer park? Anybody else, right? Anybody else? How to offend the world in 1 sentence. I just did it right there. It's only white dudes, except for this. In August 1901, 2 respectable unmarried ladies traveled backwards in time on a sightseeing trip to the court of Versailles. And now we have their names. Annie Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain were transported back to 1792 from 1901 to 1792, where they encountered a soon-to-be executed Queen Antoinette. In 1911, they recounted their story, and they wrote a book called An Adventure, a book that was very popular. It was reviewed, had great reviews, and was many editions of the book were published. And there you go. But that was two white women. Very strange to have that in a world of nothing but white dude time travelers
who drive yellow Corvettes.
Yes. Yes. Oh man.
Well, I have a story of another white dude, as you put it. There's a time travel story that I actually really love, and it hit all these newspapers in the early 2000s, and it went worldwide. And this was the beginning of the internet and all this. So, have you ever heard the story of Andrew Carlson?
Maybe. Go ahead.
Okay. Basically, the story goes that in March 2003, he was arrested for SEC violations.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh, this is one of the best examples. Now, okay, I want you to tell the story, but let's get to the end first. Do you think that was satire, or not? Because the story is as compelling as it gets. A lot of detail there, and then a whole lot of lack of detail and information at the same time. So go ahead, share the story. This is great.
Okay. So basically he was picked up because he made about 126 very high risk stock trades, and every single one of them was a success. So he started out with an $800 investment, and within a short couple of days, he turned that $800 into $350 million.
Correct.
It's just crazy. So he gets picked up, and he's thrown into.
He's arrested.
He's arrested. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they want to know, how he's doing this. And he basically, for 4 hours or more, he basically said he was a time traveler from 200 years in the future. And then he offered to tell the investigators basically all these things, like where to find Osama bin Laden, what's the cure for some diseases, and basically to let him go so he could return to his time craft. And so somebody else posts bail for him, another mystery person, and he never shows up to court. And there's no record of him even existing. And yes, Wikipedia and other websites, they say that this is most likely a fictional piece of satire, but it was so compelling, and there was so much information about this that newspapers and media from around the world picked up on this story, and it went viral, like one of the first viral stories.
And I'm going to send you a private chat because you just saw me texting. Okay, go ahead and read it.
Christian says hello.
No, Kirsten. Don't say it out loud. I didn't say, don't say it out loud. It's private.
Oh, all right.
It's a private chat. Good Lord. Good Lord. If it wasn't private, I would have said it out loud.
Oh.
Okay. So now I got to bleep that out.
No.
God, man.
Sorry,
nobody needs to know that I know those kinds of actors in Hollywood. And saying their name live on the air is just crazy. But I will say this. The Good Place, one of the best TV series ever made, except except that those last couple episodes, man, it's just puts a lump in my throat. Okay. Now, not only did he disappear, but there are no records because he came from the future, so he's not born yet, right? So there's nothing left of him, and that's the crazy part. There is here's something else I'll share with everybody. 1 year ago, a post by J.L. Goodwin, 1990, appeared on Reddit, and it's a long post. It's a book, and the post is titled, and you can go and read it. I'm a time traveler from the year 2345. I'm so sorry for what's coming. Okay. So, and let me I'll go ahead and let me pop this up in the chat so everybody can do this. And so go and when you read something like that and you read the post, yes, it reminds me of other things like this that have happened in the past, and including what we just talked about. Here it is right here. Got it. Okay. So I've got this up in the chat. Everybody, you can go and check that out on Reddit. Totally worth the read. Totally interesting. And so are the comments that follow after that. Somebody just said, I've read that post, and that comes from Patco Incorporated. It's a great post. So I've got it right there. J.L. Goodwin, 1990. I'm a time traveler from the year 2345. I'm so sorry for what's coming. All right. Everybody, time travel. Time travelers from the future coming to the past. Has it happened? We know Einstein as time travel to the future, easy. We're doing it right now. Every second that goes by, we're traveling into the future, right? You can never say, stop, we're in the now. You can't. We're always moving forward, right? So we're time traveling to the future, but going to the past. 1 pipe, 4 pipes. Everybody, I want to see what everybody's 4 pipes. 4 pipes right there. That's from Delta VR. And that's because she's from Indiana. Let's see here. 4 pipes. I'm just clicking. Wait a minute. Okay, Michael Dane, 3 pipes. He's a skeptic. He's a skeptic. He's a skeptic on everything. Somebody just said 4 bowls. Dennis comes in with 6. Dennis, you know the rules. But I'll let you slide, my brother. 4 pipes, 3 pipes. Monica, 3 pipes? Really? Elsa Louise, 4 pipes. Nemo, 4 pipes. Oh, wait a minute. We got a 2-piper. Yeah, and I understand the 2-pipe because that's a hard one. That's a tough one. And if you came back, let's say 2024, Jason, and then we'll move on. We've got so many. We're going to be doing overtime tonight. I can already tell. And we got some big stuff coming up. In 2024, time traveler comes back, right, from the future and proves it, right, with whatever, money, right, maybe a driver's license from 2030. Let's say, right? Do they get arrested? Does that go to crazy town? Or are they, you know what I mean? If you get recognized, if you get called, it would be mayhem, wouldn't it? You'd probably just want to go back as soon as you could. I don't think that would be a fun time for a time traveler. You would want to be invisible.
Absolutely, because they would probably just put you in an insane asylum. No papers, no nothing. You're out of here.
Yeah. It says it's probably, a white van pulls up in front of their house. A couple of dudes come out in white coats, right? Mr. Time Traveler, come here. Can we talk to you for a second? You want to try this shirt on? Why are the arms so big? Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's what would happen. They take you away.
I truly believe in astral time travel. 100%. I believe that 4 pipes. As in, once you leave your body, there's no such thing as time or space. So you can bounce between timelines and then come back to your body. And then, your body is kind of like the anchor point in time and space. But once you're out, you're out. And then you're free to travel.
Yeah. Give me an ounce of proof and I'm all the pipes.
I'll take you right to the jungle.
Yeah. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing. Like Stephen Hawking said, he sent out you remember the time traveler birthday party? He sent out the invitations and said, hey.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I remember
He said nobody showed up. Okay. 4 pipes on the astral travel. Yeah, no doubt. Well, you know what? When you sleep, when you go to sleep, when you close your eyes, and you're deep in it. Where are you in the time-space continuum? You don't know. Are you visiting everything all at once? Right? And I think about this all the time. When you go into space on Earth, you know what's up and what's down. You know what time is. You know what I mean? Everything moving forward. If you're in space, what's back and front, to and fro? You don't know. And it's got to be the same thing when you're sleeping. How do you know? I've had too many experiences when I sleep that there is a time dilation there, right? Where you experience a week's worth of dreaming in a span of 6 hours, right? You're going on trips, you're visiting islands, you're on trains, you're doing this, you're hanging out, you're going to museum. You have these crazy, complex, long dreams that span days or weeks, and then you wake up in the morning. But yet, the dream is complete, right? How is that possible? So, yeah, I think that's an example of time travel, of experiencing this and having it. I don't have a word to put on it. I don't know what physics would call that, right? Time. There's got to be a word for it. Time compression. I don't know.
Well, I would say that because all matter existed right from the beginning of time, we're basically 13 plus billion years old, even though we say we're a certain age. But the matter that's in us is 13 billion years old. And when you think of consciousness or awareness, that could be beyond that. So we are, if you really want to get down to the nitty gritty of creation, we're probably much older than what we can see or know.
All right. Am I running this show or are you?
No,
because you are going. Okay. So because you're going right into the next conspiracy theory before that's Jason's mind. That's how it works. I'm glad we're friends because right now Jason would be really mad at me and leave the studio. But Jason, so what did we? So we just did time travel, and we got the pipe. So we can officially move. It's your show. You're running it, right? Should we go into the next one, which is what you were just talking about? Ooh. The Big Bang Theory. Okay, the Big Bang Theory. Conspiracy theory or not? Now, I am going to read from Wikipedia. Okay, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
The Big Bang Theory, quote, and this is the opening paragraph, Wikipedia. The Big Bang is a physical theory that describes how the universe expanded from an initial state of high density and temperature. The notion of an expanding universe was first scientifically originated by physicist Alexander Friedman in 1922 with the mathematical derivation of the Friedman equations. All right. Now, that's it. This is only since 1922. What happened before and the complications with this and everything else, we'll dive into next with the Big Bang Theory. For you, Jason, Big Bang Theory, conspiracy theory or reality?
This is a really tough one. And I actually was meditating on this a lot before we spoke, because it is, we don't actually know. We have theories of it, and we can go back and we can say that we know a certain percentage that it is true and right because what it comes down to physics. And then when we measure expansion theory, you could observe things expanding in the universe. And then if you just take that calculation and reverse it backwards, everything kind of comes together into this kind of cloud and then goes further and further in density into a singularity. So
it never gets there because the numbers get wonk at like a millionth of a second, right? It never gets to the math messes up. It goes pretty smooth, right? Goes pretty smooth for 13.8 billion years almost, but then it gets wonky. That's why nobody actually knows the origination of everything, because the numbers get wonky. They start to mess up.
Yeah, it gets theoretical. And so you have all these different thoughts trying to figure out these beginning stages of creation. And they're also looking into the future too, like what happens a couple billion or trillion years in the future. Do stars just die out and then the universe becomes nothing again? You know, there's all these theoretical.
Totally, but you didn't answer the question.
Yes.
Big Bang Theory, bullshit or not?
I would say it's a percentage of physical reality, and we get to a wall and we do not know.
So you're calling bullshit.
Bullshit.
All right, let me give you some of my reasons why.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not understood why the universe has more matter than antimatter. Okay, so if you go with the Big Bang Theory, right, and everything was created in balance. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right? So we should have the same amount of antimatter as we do matter. And we can't find antimatter. We can manufacture it in little amounts that last for a little bit. And I'm going to say this, even that really honestly is theoretical. And so I'll leave that right there. So there's that. I'm going to go with B. Measurements of the redshift that I talk about all the time on this show, going back to Edwin Hubble that you just brought up. Measurements of the redshift indicate that the expansion of the universe has been accelerating since the universe was about half its present age. Okay, so that gets wonky with the Big Bang Theory, that everything was static for 7 billion years, and then suddenly 7 billion years ago, the universe started to move. That doesn't make any sense. Either it's constant or not. And that I have problems with the Big Bang Theory just because of that. But there's more.
Yes.
Observations show, this is just all my words, by the way, everybody, and I'm not a physicist. I just play one on TV, okay? But observations show that there is not sufficient visible matter in the universe to account for the apparent strength of gravitational forces within and between galaxies. And this is something that just confuses me more and more and more. We don't understand what gravity is. We have so many different types of gravity and forces out there that are all supposed to be doing the same thing, but we don't have enough mass in the universe to have these gravitational forces in play. So that makes me wonder too, as well, that the Big Bang Theory and mass and the way that creation was presented to us, it doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm not going on the God side of things, and we're going to get to that too later on in the evening. But one of the common misconceptions about the Big Bang model is that it fully explains the origin of the universe, as you just presented, but it doesn't. Jason, it doesn't. The Big Bang model doesn't describe to me how energy, how time, and how space were caused. Right? They go and they present all of it. I'm just like, wait a minute, okay, but where does energy come from then? Right? Explain time to me. They want time to start at the beginning of the Big Bang and move forward. That before that there was nothing. I don't buy that. I don't buy into that, and that's why for me, the Big Bang Theory, the defense's case does not hold water.
And again, it's all theoretical, and what you were saying, they discuss it in a form of condensation or of temperature. It's so hot that there is no movement, but then as it cools, then there's movement. It's still strange in that respect. And there's also the multi-universe theories. Maybe universe is just a bubble of space-time expanding until it pops. And maybe there's infinite number of these bubbles of multi-universes. And in the universes, there's multi-dimensions. So, we're looking at something that's eternally changing, because we could experience change, observe it. But then it's eternal and infinite in a sense as well. So it's quite the conundrum for simple minds. Yeah.
Right. And because of that, the description of the Big Bang and everything, it has become such a significant centerpiece of discussion when it comes to not only science, but religion and philosophy. Right. These are like big, heavy thought experiments that come down because of this. And so much is at play here. It's belief systems, it's organization, philosophy. Now, I'm not going to get into, one of the most boring subjects in the world, moral philosophy and philosophy. I'm just not going to get into that. But that is a big part of not only our past, but current history is philosophy. And the Big Bang complicates all of this. I mean, to me, as a result of all of it, it's one of my favorite areas of discussion, and it's one of my favorite points of debate and discourse between science and religion and philosophy. It's like, wind them up, let them go, and because of that, I think that shows and exposes the holes in the Big Bang Theory. It can't be everything to everybody. There's too many problems with it.
We don't even know what space is.
No, we don't. And so, and then when you get into these religious and philosophical discussions, and you get into what the Big Bang Theory actually implies, it's easy ammunition for religions to say, see, there is a God. That's the only thing that can explain this. It's not an accident. And it's really strange. And the same thing with philosophy, the hard sciences and the physicists and the theoretical and everything else that want to say it's, something from nothing, which is, their argument always, the singularity. That if you're going to make that jump, then you're opening the door to spirituality, religion, and deep philosophical discussions on this that have nothing to do with chemistry.
Yeah, I'm gonna have an out of body experience just thinking about this stuff.
And so because the physicists out there and the scientists and the doofuses like Richard Dawkins, right? Will say that a creator or that part of it is nonsense, that it's just science. And it's weird. Big Bang Theory kind of opens up the door to both sides. It's really strange. Now, but then you just touched upon, and then we'll move on. I want to bring up 2 points before everybody jumps in with their pipes. Okay. You have the big bounce, and the big bounce, I think, holds water. And the big bounce is the idea of the universe expanding, contracting, and then wash, rinse, repeat. And that we're in the middle of another cycle of this, where the universe is oscillating all the time, and that we are just in another version of what has already happened before. So before the Big Bang was the universe, right? And it was this cyclic motion going back and forth. So 13.8 billion years ago was just the dividing line of a cycle, that there was a universe. The universe is always continuing, right? There is no end to it. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. Time is infinite, forwards and backwards. And you just can't say that before 13.8 billion years ago that there was nothing. And then you have the ancient Vedas, which state that the universe has no beginning or end, but that everything goes through recycling, which is exactly pretty much what the Big Bounce hypothesis is stating too as well. So I lean towards Big Bounce. I'm going one pipe on Big Bang Theory. That's where I'm at. Where are you, Jason?
I'm at one pipe, maybe 2 pipes, but I'll just say that I'm trying to remember where the theory comes from, but they're saying it's like the universe is an in and out breath because everything is above and so below. And right now we're in the expansion. So we're in the out breath of creation, whatever that means. And then at a certain point, the in breath is going to come and pull it back.
It has to be that way.
Yes.
That it has to be the energy of expanding the universe, of moving galaxies forever faster than the speed of light. The expansion of the universe is, where we are at right now. That energy can't last forever. Entropy has to take over at some point. You can't just leave the second law of thermodynamics, off the table here and just say that energy is going to last forever and there's not going to be anything expelled at the end of it. I don't buy into that. No, it will have to eventually go in the opposite direction. That's it. Has nothing to do with time. Has nothing to do with anything else. But energy just can't last forever. It's just it can't.
So what you're saying, it's like when you say the bounce, it's almost like an elastic band. So it's like right now we're stretching that band out, and then at one point that band is going to pull it right back.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And that's the Big Bounce hypothesis. I'm okay with that.
Interesting.
I mean, that keeps me sane. All right. That keeps me sane. That keeps me in check. So Big Bang Theory, as it is right now, no, has not been proven. The math gets wonky. And I think that there was something before 13.8 billion years ago. So I'm going one pipe on the Big Bang Theory. Jason's going 2. Where is everybody else on the Big Bang Theory? Bullshit or not? One pipe or 4. 4. 1 pipe or 4. Elsa goes 1. Are we influencing people here? Michael Dane correctly comes in at 2. Let's see here. Let me go back here. We got 1 pipe. Let's see. There's Elsa. Big Bounce is compelling. I know it is. I'm with you on that. 2.5 pipes. That's okay. Margaret Slezak, one pipe. One pipe from, is that Amy? Amy Roden, one pipe. Let's see. Mike Terra Balka. I'm pretty good with my old eyes. One pipe there. Two pipes from Scott D. Genocide. What is that, Genocide? What is that? What is that?
That's
Jason?
That's just one bowl or one bowl.
One puff. One puff.
Yeah, sorry.
Monica's got 0. She's got 0. Jennifer 0. One pipe. And let's see, what's this? Yoga with Denise. Hey, Denise. Yes, she just goes straight. Danny, is that Staten or Staten? How would you say that, Jason?
Staten?
But wouldn't that be 2 T's or EN, like Staten Island? I'm going Staten. Is that Staton? Staton. Danny Staton. Staton. It's French. He's from Montreal. Staton. Staton. 2 pipes. 1 point.
State N is what he says.
State N. Okay. All right. Okay. 1.12 pipes. Is that pi? He's going with pi on the pipes. Going for 4 on love. 4 pipes for the TV sitcom. Well done. What's her name in that? The blonde. She was in The Flight Attendant. What's her name? Who's the star of Big Bang Theory?
Oh, I don't remember.
I can't remember. Hold on. I'm going to pull that up.
It's not State N. Definitely not State N.
The Big Ben Theory. The Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory TV show starring. Oh yeah, that's right. Kaylee Kuwako. She's cool. Yep, everybody's got Kaylee something. All right, next. What are we doing next, Jason? I'll let you call it.
Ooh.
Let's pick the one that will piss everybody off the most.
Oh, come on. Should we do the big one or leave that to last?
Or they're all big.
They're all big. All right. I think this is a good time to blow people's minds.
Okay. Let's do that. Do that.
All right. And so this is a conspiracy that I've been thinking about for a very, very long time, and I shared it with Jimmy today. And because we're all big in the UFO topic, and there's a lot of things that if this conspiracy is true, then we have no idea what kind of world we're living in.
Okay, the title of this conspiracy is called
Did Tesla invent the modern UFO?
Come on. We're going to go with that. Did Tesla invent the modern UFO? All right. Now, everybody, hold off on your pipes. Hold off on your pipes, because what we're going to present right now is absolutely mind-blowing. So I'm going to hand it off to Jason, but I'm going to jump in and interrupt a few times.
Okay. Well, first, I'll just say that most people know that Tesla, or Nikola Tesla, was basically obsessed with trying to communicate with Mars. He believed that there was a civilization on Mars, and he would invent the first radios to open communication between the planets. And so this was very big with him. And even Marconi got involved, and he was trying to invent radio that would communicate with Mars.
Anybody dealing with radio at that time was focused on Mars.
Yes.
100%. You know what they would do, Jason? I'll let you continue.
Mm-hmm.
They had, I forget the exact title of it, but they had a law that was enacted in the United States and it went worldwide, that once an hour for 5 minutes over a period of 2 weeks, they had radio silence. Why? Because they were trying to contact Mars. How
And
nuts is that? I mean, they did that for 5 minutes on the hour. Right? That's imagine if they did that today. Okay, so for 5 minutes for the next 2 weeks, every hour, we're going to try to talk to aliens so nobody can use their cell phones. Right? It'd be like that. And
Yeah.
that's what was going on. Okay, continue.
So we think we're into UFOs today, but back then they were really into UFOs and talking to alien races on other planets. And Nikola Tesla really did believe that he was communicating or actually receiving radio signals from Mars and different civilizations. And he went public with that information. So he made a lot of news articles, a lot of
Yeah.
headlines around the world. And this was a really, really big thing. Now, we even have all our radio telescopes today because of Nikola Tesla. We have SETI because of Nikola Tesla. These are his inventions to try to communicate with other planetary races. All right. So Tesla was way, way ahead of his time. And we're talking about the 1900s here, like really early on, over 100 years ago. Okay. So I'm going to read things right now that are quotes straight from Nikola Tesla. All right.
And this is from his book, My Inventions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that was published in 1919.
In 1919. And I haven't heard any person talking about this, especially in our community, which I think this should be like headline news. All right. Because, all right. So I'm going to read this. In recent years, I have successfully solved this problem, and I am now planning aerial machines devoid of sustaining planes, propellers, and other external attachments, which will be capable of immense speeds and are very likely to furnish powerful arguments for peace in the future. And he goes on to say that it is controlled either mechanically or by wireless energy. Okay, so that's in 1919. Okay.
Well, he said, he says, such a machine, sustained and propelled entirely by reaction, is shown on page 108 and is supposed to be controlled either mechanically or by wireless energy.
And the
This
wireless
is in 1919, man.
Yes, and the wireless energy he was discussing was the Wardenclyffe towers, and he was saying that he was going to set these towers up around the planet, and these devices would go up into the upper atmosphere, and it would connect to this wireless these electrons around the planet, and basically it could be sent to any location on the planet at hypersonic speeds.
He says, we'll get to it in a second.
Yes.
But he starts quoting speeds, and and back then you got to think about this, right? Biplanes doing 100 miles an hour, right, was like a big deal.
Yes.
That was high speed. That was ripping, right? He was talking about 300 miles per second.
Per second. Yeah.
Per second.
Insane.
Just think about that. So that's New York to LA in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
10 seconds. 10 seconds. That's crazy. Okay.
And
so let's go to his quote from 1911 in the New York Herald. Read this.
Okay. Not the airplane, the flying machine, responded Dr. Tesla. Now you have struck the point in which I am most deeply interested, the object towards which I have been devoting my energies for more than 20 years, the dream of my life. Okay, this is extremely important to Nikola Tesla. It was in seeking the means of making the perfect flying machine that I developed this engine. Okay, so he's literally saying he's already developed this engine.
Mic drop.
Okay.
Yeah, mic drop. Mic drop. Mic drop.
You may see it on the ground and you would never guess that it was a flying machine. Yet it will be able to move at will through the air in any direction with perfect safety, higher speeds than you have yet been reached, regardless of weather, and the oblivious of holes in the air or downward currents. It will ascend in such currents if desired. It can remain absolutely stationary in the air, even in a wind of great length of times. Its lifting power will not depend upon any such delicate devices as the bird has to employ, but upon positive mechanical action. Okay, so this gets really good here. He goes, he is not yet ready to give details of the engine which he says will render fruitless any military expedition against a country which possesses it. Suffice it to say that the destructive intentions will go through space with a speed of 300 miles per second. A manless airship without propelling engine or wings, sent by electricity to any desired point on the globe on its errand of destruction, if destruction its manipulator wishes to effect. All right, so we're going back over 100 years.
Now, okay, so I'm going to, just based on this and where Tesla was back then with radio controlled devices, which he had proven, wireless electricity, which he had done the Wycliffe towers, radio, and everything else that he was working on, including the death ray, which was something else that he talked deeply about. I'm going on this. I'm going 4 pipes. I'm going solid 4 pipes. I would like to go 5. I'm staying within the rules of the show. I'm going 4 pipes, Jason. How about you?
If Nikola Tesla said publicly in multiple writings that he indeed has already designed and built and tested this, then it is a reality. And if this is a reality, so 4 pipes for me, but if this is a reality, then what happened to it?
Wouldn't it, I mean, so let's say, now we're getting into some of the greatest conspiracy theories and ideas of all time here. And one of them certainly centers around Nikola Tesla and what happened to the trunks of his research that were in his apartment, in his hotel that he lived in New York upon his death, and that the person tasked with retrieving those trunks and getting them was John Trump, Donald Trump's uncle. And this is not urban legend. This isn't myth. This is the facts of the case. So those trunks were removed. Partial information from those trunks were sent back to his native Serbia on request of the government. I'm talking about a few sheets of paper, by the way, nothing substantial. And they are in the Nikola Tesla Museum there. Other than that, his stuff, his information, and his research has stayed in government hands since his death.
Yeah. And, he was so excited about these flying machines. And then there was silence for many years. And then he started to release patents for commercial flying machines, or just commercial aircraft to carry cargo. And it's kind of sad because you see like these incredible inventions that would take the human race light years ahead, and then silence for years, then pulling back to airplanes for cargo, and then pulling back to rockets with jet fuel propulsion. So it was very strange how this all worked out. And there's a lot of conspiracy about this. He was really into, he was very patriotic. He was very into advancing military. So he would go and work with military and say, I can create the death ray device, like you just said, to deter anybody from attacking. He had weather and water modification weapons, where he said that he already had inventions that if an army of naval ships ever tried to come to the coast, he can basically turn on his invention and create 100-foot waves to just take out the entire navy. This is insane technology that we have not seen in our lifetimes. And you have to look at the timing as well. So we're talking about the 1920s. So this would be kind of developed right in that kind of sweet spot between World War I and
Mhm.
World War II. And, in World War II, there was all these talks of Foo Fighters, and, they were fighting UFOs and things like this. They don't know where they're coming from. And could you imagine that a select group of elite people taking Tesla's technology, taking his patents, going underground, completely breaking away from our society, creating their own fleets of UFOs, creating their own weapons? We would
And
be
poof.
and gone. We would be completely defenseless. We would not know how to fight back. So just, this is a really deep rabbit hole, and the timing is very, very interesting because, we're talking about, the first rockets, the first satellites going up into space in the early 1950s, right? But Tesla's talking about sending flying machines at 300 miles per second across, it's crazy.
And one other point that Tesla about Tesla that isn't mentioned enough. All right, he didn't give a crap about money. Part of it was his downfall. If he would have paid attention and gotten to the right contractual situations, he could have, and that's with Edison and Westinghouse and everybody else that he was involved with. He could have had the money to continue his research and do other things, but that's not what he was about. He was about free energy for the people. He was about that this is for the world. This shouldn't be, but no, that's not the way industrialists work. Edison and Westinghouse and the Rockefellers and all of those, industrialists that were building trains and the railroad barons and all of that was about monetizing everything. Monetizing. And so that his stuff needed to be monetized, and he wanted to go the opposite direction. He wanted free for everybody. And if you can't, if you're running wireless free electricity through the air to houses and you can't monetize it, you're not going to get backed, right? Nobody's going to, no, that's not how it works, brother. And that's what they told him. And what ends up happening? He dies penniless in New York, and wasn't able to do what his vision was, which was like this engine running on electricity that was going to be in the ether, dashing people around the world and transporting like this for free. That's not how you're going to get it done as an inventor. You're not going to have people backing you, and that's why I'm being serious. That stuff was taken and secreted away. The oil barons, the industrial world, the petrodollar, and everything else, fossil fuels, electricity, how it was distributed, metered, and then everybody gets an electric bill every month. Everybody fills their cars with gas. You plug in your Tesla, you're paying for that, right? And a car with his name on it, and it was supposed to be free energy, right? So it's just not talked about enough about Tesla.
And there's one more point, because you brought up the money thing, and one of the most interesting things about Tesla is he made a patent on creating ozone. He had an ozone generator that he created, a patent, and he invested to open up the Ozone Society. Someone will have to look this up, but I believe in today's world, he put up about $11 million of his own money to start this society to teach people about ozone. And we don't hear about any of that today. Nobody knows about that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so you and I both went 4 pipes on this. So did everybody else. No, well, mostly everybody. Yeah, Tesla. What? If there is a true definition of enigma, it's Tesla. Just absolutely nuts. All right. Okay. How to piss off the world in one podcast. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. The next conspiracy theory. Did God create the universe in 6 days?
I'm out of here. I'm gone.
Lightning bolt. Did God create the universe in 6 days? And by the way, universe is a big place. Day 7, he took the day off. Letting you know, day of rest. My work's done. So here's what we have. All right. In Genesis 1:1, quote, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Genesis 1:2, quote, the earth was without form and void. In the first 3 days, Jason, first 3 days, is this 3? Yeah, this is 3, right? This is 3. The first 3 days, yeah, God separated light from darkness, sky from ocean, and land from waters. The next 3 days, to complete the 6, the next 3 days, God solved the problem of emptiness. The 7th day, God rested and made that a holy day. Now, okay, so let's just stop right there. Let's stop right there. What's your take? Just on the statement, did God create the universe? I'm going to say conspiracy theory on this because I understand the religions of the world. I understand Genesis. I understand the Bible. I understand people's belief systems. Okay. All right. But this opens up the entire conversation about the earth being 6,000 years old. And that includes the dinosaurs. That includes this. That includes that the universe, right? 6,000 years. There's a lot of arguments and a lot of debate on this. When you see scientists and biologists and anthropologists that step forward that have their religious belief systems in place, and they will give their evidence on dinosaurs, right? Tyrannosaurus Rex skin and bones and its age and so forth. So the sediment layers and how it can be aged a certain way, it's pretty crazy. And you watch some of this stuff and you go, well, kind of compelling. All right. So where do you stand on that theory that God created the universe in 6 days?
Well, I don't have it in front of me. So I don't have Genesis in front of me, but I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. So you have to correct me here because I think it was on day 4. He created the plants. And so do you have that in front of you?
No, yeah, go ahead. It's
okay. But then the next day they created the sun and the moon. All right. So in my opinion, that's mixed up because you can't have plants and life on our planet without the sun and the moon. All right. So it seems like in that verse, it's kind of switched, which is strange to me. Now, this is not controversial. All right, so you don't have to worry because biblical scholars for thousands of years, okay, the rabbis even 2,000-3,000 years ago would sit down and discuss how is this possible. All right, so this is a very old conversation. It's not controversial at all. And basically, what the scholars, the priests, the rabbis, all what they eventually came to understand about these verses, which it's still unknown exactly, but what they came to the understanding is that everything is a reflection of, let's say, as above and so below. So it's like you have the reflection of God's work on earth, and we are a reflection of our work into God's world. So we may experience the 7-day week, but to God, those 7 days are um, a reflection of God's time,
Right,
which
right.
has no
So
bearing,
no bearing at
bearing
all.
on
And that
us.
is that too easy of an out? Right?
Well,
Is that an out clause? Is that an out clause? Like, okay, well, yeah, man, it's 6 days, but how long was a day? To God, a day, and so what a day was a billion years, a million years, 500 million. I don't know, but is that an out? Is that the out clause
that is
that
the out
you would need?
clause.
Right, right.
Yeah. So I feel it's an out clause, but it's a way of trying to understand, because remember, the Bible is a coded book, and you get initiated into this. The literal translations or the literal meanings change as you start to expand your knowledge of biblical mysticism. So we may talk in circles about this. We know that we were just talking about the Big Bang and what time is according to science. We're talking about the layers of sediment and going back, a long time. And yes, people did believe that the Earth is only 6,000 years old, but I would argue that the concept of religion, or the creation of a certain religion or thought that created civilization or shaped civilization, started about 6,000 years ago. So it's not maybe the creation of the biblical understandings that are in that book started about 6,000 years ago. And it was told through stories until it was written down, going through Mesopotamia, into all these places.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Let's stop there and let's go straight to the point, and then I'll jump in. Did God create the universe in 6 days? One pipe. One pipe. One pipe. What say you, Jason Quitt?
Well, if I'm going to take it as a literal statement, no, I would do one pipe.
One pipe.
Yeah.
Now, and this is where I'm going to bend the rules. I think that the answer to the craziness of all there is and the perfection of it, that is not chemistry and math. That is divine. Not divine like a god. I'm saying it's too good. Right? That cannot be an accident. And what complicates all of this, because when you jump into Darwin or Darwinism, or the concepts of millions of years of evolution and the development of different species and everything else, that to have this many species just on this planet, like perfect, what is different between a shark and an elephant? Right? Two completely different situations. A whale and a horse, or a human and a dog, or a banana. Right? Okay, so just and you think about that, the DNA is all basically the same, but yet develops into these different species. And when we go to the basic ideas of everything, starts off as one cell, everything, right? And then divides into two, and then you have Jason Quitt. right? Divides into two, and you have coffee beans, right? Right. Just think about that for a second. That's crazy town. And that's where I go, that's no. That is not chemistry and particles just doing wacky things over time and developing into this. I don't buy into that. I think that there is something else behind it. And I'm not saying it's God. I'm not going religious here. But I think that there's an intelligence behind it. I don't think it's an accident. I don't. But the God created the universe in 6 days, that's bullshit. But everything else, and so that would indicate to me, if we look at that statement, God created the universe in 6 days, that means God, as presented in the Bible, is the same everywhere. Right? Everywhere. Any galaxy, any planet, anything. So that complicates things for me. So what? Jesus, the Son of God, right? Jesus is that happened on every planet in every galaxy in the observable universe? No. But there's an intelligence behind it. I can buy into that. Yes.
Yeah, we're very complex. I don't know how this can be just a random chemical reaction to give us this reality. There has to be some type of guidance. But you can go back, and I was just kind of laughing in my mind because you can go back to before the Old Testament. What was the prevalent religious understanding of creation before the Old Testament? And it was the Babylonian Enuma Elish. And basically it says that Marduk basically rips Tiamat in two, which is in the form of like this sea serpent dragon, and half her body becomes the earth and half her body becomes the sky and the planets. And basically to create humans, they used a demon named Kingu, which was like the head demon. They killed him, and that blood of Kingu became the human race. So it's like that was the prevalent religion understanding before the Old Testament. It's quite metal, actually.
It is quite metal.
Yeah.
And it's not that far off from Egypt.
No.
Right. And you jump into that. There was a lot of body shredding and reassembly. There was a lot of Frankenstein stuff that Dr. Franken, right? It's alive, right? There was a lot of that going on. And would you base that on a shared creation myth that somehow orally made it, people repeating it over like a giant game of telephone, right? And that became the basis of everything? Or is it that it's rooted in something and everybody was just sharing their own experiences and speaking about it in their own towns and cities and cultures around the world?
I believe that it was a way of trying to understand and just understand the levels of creation of the natural world. And when I do go back to the Egypt creation story, it's actually quite an amazing story. And it's actually pretty much a mirror of Genesis in the Bible, where you do have Nun.
Moses. Yeah.
You have Nun, which is the god of darkness, the abyss. You have the waters, the separations of the waters. You have Ra, remembering his name, just suddenly becoming conscious. And when he becomes conscious, he separates from the water, becoming the light. His light shines on the first earth mound. And then you have the gods starting to develop the creator gods, which is like Shu is the element of air, Geb is the earth, So you have this kind of like the gods were the separation of creation that follows a very similar pattern of Genesis.
I'm going one pipe on this, and I'm going 4 pipes on the alternative Superman Bizarro world aspect of this, right? If you flip it over, that I think that there is something that has been around for a very, 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 very long time that is doing something over here and doing something over here. When you look at you look at a hummingbird and really think about that, right? Look at a sea otter. I mean, just a penguin, a human baby as it's born. Don't tell me that is chemistry, that is just particles gone wild. No, I don't buy into that. But it wasn't God. God in the Bible.
We were talking about certain things at the beginning of the show. And I remember researching this because there was a question is why does the human body have a cannabinoid system? And when you go back, and what I say when you're going to go back 1 million plus years, and some sea animal developed the endocannabinoid system, and somehow we have it. So we've evolved from that sea creature, and now that is a part of us. So that was the answer to the question. Why do we have
really? And see, that's another thing that I have a problem with in the Darwinian side of things. When you look at a snail, I don't know why I'm picking sea creatures.
Yeah.
So let's pick something from an earthworm, right? An earthworm. I don't care how much time you apply to it. An earthworm is never going to drive a car. It's not. I don't care. Not in 1 trillion years. It's still going to be an earthworm. Well, an earthworm develop wings and feathers and fly because it wants? No. That's the Darwinian part. So how did humans go from in 2 or 3 billion years on Earth? How did we develop into what we are today? I'm not buying into that. No. It's way too much time. If we apply the Darwinian side of things into how many different species are on this planet and how long it took them to evolve, and nobody's evolving. Jason, you don't have gills. You're not swimming underwater anytime soon.
It's 2024. You can't say that.
Right. But yet DMT is in our body.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It's all a big mystery. But the natural selection side of things, and that this is just all evolution and a process that takes place over time. Earth is only 4.5 billion years old. The numbers don't match up to that. They just don't.
Well, I'll just say this because this is proven science, and we're talking about evolution as a theory. They do know that when you get infected by a virus, that virus does change the genetics of the body. So an interesting theory is that by getting sick over how many hundreds of thousands of years or millions of years, by getting sick, we evolve from that. Again, nobody really talks about that theory.
Well, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I ate a lot of dirt when I was a kid. Right? And I'm strong. I'm strong today. I'm strong. Yeah, I don't remember antibiotics as a child. I remember if I got cut, I rubbed, rub dirt in it. It'll make you stronger. It'll make you stronger. All right. Okay. Let's really wind this thing up. You ready?
Sure. What's next?
Does a secret group by any name run the world, the entertainment industry, and is it Oprah?
You just name dropped Oprah?
I did.
Oh.
And so
What do you know, Jimmy? What do you know? Spill it.
So let's just start right there. 1 pipe, 4 pipes. Is there a secret group by any name that runs the world and the entertainment industry? 1 pipe, 4 pipes. You're going 4. You're going 4 out of the gate. 0 on Oprah. 4 pipes on the secret society. Oh man. Check this out. A survey. Oh man, I'm going to hell, man. I am. I got to start believing in the Bible. I need to pray tonight. I need to pray tonight. I need to pray to my God tonight.
If they censor this video, you'll have your answer.
Yeah, exactly right. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Hold on for a second. Oh man, I need to let me look at something really quick. That's a really good point. Let's see what is happening right now. Let's see if it's been censored yet. Because usually they'll do it. If they do it, they're going to do it in the show. They'll do it during the show. And no, man, I'm still good.
Because
I'm still good. So it might make okay.
Here's a conspiracy. Here's a conspiracy for you. I did a Quittspiracy with you. I don't remember what number it was. But
right.
It was about the internet. It was conspiracies about the internet. And social media. And that week, my Facebook and Instagram was deleted.
Yeah, and that show was flagged as inappropriate. Yeah, I remember that. That was crazy. Yeah. And I didn't think that, but back then, algorithms were just coming into play. That was the first thing with YouTube. But there was some other drama that was going on. I'm not going to say it out loud, but you and I touched upon that in the show, and that shit got flagged, man, all the way around. And I had to go back and edit sections of it out, and it took me like 2 months of editing that show, and then it got monetized again eventually. But it was flagged as inappropriate. And I think it was removed or hidden. It was hidden by YouTube. It was hidden until I fixed it. All right, but check this out. A survey last year by the Associated Press Nork Center for Public Affairs Research at the University of Chicago found that 48% of Americans agree with the statement, quote, the people who really run the country are not known to the voters. 48%. Half of the country. Believe that. Only 22%, Jason, said that they disagreed with that statement. That's crazy if you really think about it. And 29% said that they didn't have an opinion either way. So, yeah, I'm going to go with that. Half of the country says that somebody's running the world and we don't know who they are. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I am a young guy, you know. You have a lot more experience than me, but I watch world politics very closely. and I've been doing it for a while. And I see the promises, I see the statements, and then I see the actions, and it's almost like there is this underlying current that we don't know about that's guiding our society. It doesn't matter what we say or think, we're being taken down a very, very specific path. And it's not just in our country, it's all around the world. So there does seem to be a hidden hand that is guiding our civilization.
I remember man, what was I doing? I was filming a TV series, and I had to do a series of voiceovers, or no, this was on camera, and so the director, the VP of the network, I can't remember. Anyway, so she's behind the camera, and she goes, "Okay, so Jimmy, just look straight into the camera and give it to me straight, right?" And so I lean, I'm just like, and I lean into the camera and I said something like, it was all improvisation. I had to do like one outro for each episode, one intro for each episode. This is an outro to one of the episodes. But I looked right in the camera and I said something like, when a president is elected and they take the oath and they walk into the Oval Office for the first time, they sit down at the desk, they arrange the pen holder, the desk blotter, and they smile. And then the phone rings, and they pick it up, and they find out at that moment who their boss is. And I truly mean, I believe that to my soul. I believe you think you're the leader of the free world? Come on. Oh no. No. You're not even close. You're not even you're sitting at the kids' table at Thanksgiving. You're not at the big boys' table. You're not at the adult table. And I believe that is the case. I really do. I really do. Have I been approached? Kind of. Okay. I'll say this to everybody with a very straight face. Everybody knows that I don't give a shit and I can't be bought. There's nothing in my life that I desire. I've achieved everything that I've wanted to achieve. So there's nothing that can be brought to me. Somebody could offer me an island in Fiji. Oh, no, I don't need it. I don't care about it. I have everything that I want. I'm happy. So therefore I can't be bought. I don't care about a seat at any table. Has it been offered? I'm just going to say I don't play ball. Okay? I don't play ball. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. I play by my own rules. How about you, Jason?
When I first got into this community and I started to release a lot of information, I always had this kind of thought in the back of my head, is somebody going to put a stop to this? Because the conspiracy mind, it really gets you sometimes, the paranoia. But I will happily say that nothing has ever happened to me except for getting my contacts and social media deleted. So that's a nuisance. And I can't prove anything, but that's, I think, the most that's happened to me.
Yeah. I'm not, I don't hang out or accept or do anything that is outside of my friend zone or comfort zone. I just don't do it. I don't do it. I don't care about it. It doesn't matter to me. And I've turned down all those kinds of invitations. I don't care. and that's it. I live my life by just being happy. So how do you be happy? Don't bring that stuff into your circle. I keep my private life private. I don't do anything on social media. I don't read social media. I don't scroll. I don't follow. Listen, everybody. Listen to me right now. I love your post. Keep posting. Do your thing. Right. I don't read it. I don't. If somebody sends me an email, okay, I'll get around to it. But I don't. Why? Why don't I read the news, or why don't I go? First off, there's too much social media out there. There's just way too much of it, and it would just take up way too much of my day. And most of it is negative. So I'm not going to scroll through a bunch of negative posts about news stuff around the world or conspiracy theories or what's going on. And I'm not going to, I don't care about it. I don't care. It's so insane to me how, and I do pay attention. It is so insane to me how much made up stuff is out there. 100% made up. I look at these pictures of, and I'll see it, right? Pictures of some ancient site it's obviously fake, right? Or some or whatever it doesn't matter. It's I'm like, people, obviously believe what they're seeing, or they're interested in it, or they stop and they do it and they click. And that's crazy. I just can't believe how much of that is out there, and I don't care about it.
But it's like we had this conversation the other day too. It's like we focus on what interests us, and it takes all our mental power.
Every ounce of energy that I have is spent doing research, talking to people that have knowledge and stuff, and this show, right? That's and my Harley, by the way. That's all of my time. I don't have any other time to go and do that. I just don't. And if there was something positive that would come out of it, I would do it. But there's not. There's simply not. And can you imagine if I watched every Joe Rogan episode? Those things are what, 3 hours, 4 hours? That's one thing, just one. 3 hours out of my day that could be spent doing something else, let alone something like scrolling on social media. Holy crap. I would get nothing done. So I don't know. I don't care. But that is the crazy part about somebody running the world, or something running stuff in the background in the shadows, that allows people to just make shit up, whatever, to divide and cause, divisiveness and negativity in the world and in our community. It's crazy to me. Why would you do that?
Well, I'm not
control.
I'm not going to lie. I was very involved in social media. And then when I was kicked off, I was very upset and angry for a while, and I just kind of gave up on it. So now it's like I don't really look at Facebook anymore. I do look at Twitter. I'm not going to lie. But Instagram and Facebook, I barely look at that. And I feel so much better.
Yeah. See, I'm the opposite. I don't do, okay. So I'll be very transparent here. If I have a picture of a plate of food, right, or I'm out with friends, I will post it on Facebook, right, or whatever. I'll post it on social media. That's it. All the other posting that you see that goes on for me on Instagram, on Threads, on Facebook, on Twitter is done by somebody else. I don't do it. Thank God. Right? I don't do it. I have a team of people. That stuff gets sent out and it's done. I have artists that create the art. I have people that do the writing. I have Renee that does my news. I don't read the news. Renee reads the news for me. She knows what I like. She's a great writer. She's a great producer. The stuff gets sent to me and she knows where my interests lie and she's inside of my head. She's been with me for 10 years. Thank God. So I don't have to go and read social media or read the news or no. And all of that is done by my team. And that's it. If I have something interesting, a picture of my motorcycle or a guitar, or I'm out to dinner with friends, I'll do a quick post. Everything else, everything that I don't have that time to do all that stuff. Are you kidding me? No, everything, all of my time is like you is spent doing research and having fun without negative vibrations around me. That's it. So I lead by example. Everybody, if you do what I did, you would smile like I do. You would, like all minutes of the day. I was Jason, I was saying to I was talking to somebody the other day, and this is what I said. And I want everybody to take this the wrong way. In the morning, when I wake up, I come downstairs, I get dressed, I put on my motorcycle boots. I don't have to do anything, right? License goes in the pocket. I go in, I make a cup of espresso in a little European espresso cup, and I walk out to my garage. I start up my Harley so it can warm up, and I take that espresso cup and I look at my Harley and I take a sip and I go, sip. Life is beautiful. That's my world. That's my world.
Show us your hands.
Yeah, that's my world, man.
Yeah.
No negativity. I thank the universe and that's it. That's it. That's it. Spread the love. Don't play the victim. Work hard. Keep your foot on the gas. Find your bliss. And that's it. So the cabal that's running the world, or this secret thing that's run by Oprah, I laugh at it. It's probably real though.
Well,
probably real.
What did we see with P. Diddy recently? It's like people knew in the business, people knew for years.
Right.
There's probably way more than that than we know, but who's in control of them? And then who's in control of them? It's like, how many levels does this go up? Because they were allowed to do this.
Right. And how long can you keep something like that secret? It only takes a couple of things to slip up, and if you step out of line, and then the next thing you know, it's like House of Cards, right? It's all going to come down. And could we be seeing that? Which, I'll close on this. Is Cat Williams a prophet? Right? And you think about that for a second. And it only takes, and the next thing you know, I'm telling you, when it comes down to something like that, like what I was saying before, I don't mix, man. I don't mix. I have my circle of friends around me, and everybody knows who they are. And if you're in the circle of trust, you're in the circle of trust, and that's it. But think about how many people, the biggest of the big names, are like, oh crap. Right.
Yep.
Like right now going, oh man, were there cameras? Oh, yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
I've never been invited to these parties. So just putting that out there. Yeah.
Oh man. I'm so glad I've run clean. Jeez, man. Jeez. All right. Jason, another great Quittspiracy. We got to do these. Every time we do one of these shows, let's wrap on this. Is there a secret group running the world? I said 4 pipes. Jason said 4. What does the rest of this audience say? Secret. By any name, running things. They will never get Kevin Costner. Oh man, definitely. Yeah, 4 pipes. 4.32 pipes. Jonicide's going with 3 puffs. 4 pipes, 3 pipes, 4 pipes. 4 pipes. Yeah, I think it's kind of difficult, right now with the way things are. I think we're running at about 99% 4 pipes. Are you watching this?
I am. Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty universal. That when you look at the media, the news, the way stories are broke, the control of different social media platforms, and the way things are right now, that it's pretty hard to say that's not part of control.
Well, just look at the story of Nikola Tesla we shared tonight.
Yeah.
Perfect
100%.
example.
Or the Bible.
Yeah.
The Bible. I mean, the Bible, that is control. That's all it is. And in some ways I kind of understand it. Not today. I'm talking about it in ancient times, where you needed to protect your village. You had to survive the night. You had to eat food that wasn't spoiled, or whatever it was, disease and things that you didn't understand. And certainly we didn't have antibiotics until 100 years ago. Right. So back then, 1,000 years ago, a tooth will kill you. A cut would kill you. Think about that for a second, right? So you had to have bad food. A bad run of crops could kill everybody. So having the ability to say, well, God says no, or God says yes, that sense of control to keep people alive, that makes, but that has rolled over, Jason, into society today, where now absolutely control of the masses is being done by somebody. I just don't know who they are. And it's scary to think who they are.
Yeah. You mentioned a name earlier, and I guarantee you that even with all the names that we think we know, and we can point at a person and say that's one of them, the real people, you'll never know their names. You'll never know their faces.
Yeah. That's why it's not Oprah.
Yeah.
That's why it's not Oprah. Jason, just keep doing what you're doing. Give my best to Monica. I can't wait for you to come out to the house, and let's have a great cookout and knock back some shots of vodka. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Goodbye, everyone.
Behave and be well. The Crystal Sun, everybody. Jason Quitt, Quittspiracy 13. Thank you so much, Jason. What a perfect show tonight. I just got to say that Jason Quitt is the absolute very best. The Crystal Sun is his website. Tomorrow night on the show, hold on, I'll tell you right now. Tomorrow night on the show, we've got the one and only Robert Grant on the show tomorrow night. So that is tomorrow. Until then, go Beckley Teppy. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Special thanks to Bill, John, Dex, Jessica, Dennis, and Kevin. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Space Boy. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2024 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Go back, Lee Tappy.